Good morning, 6th graders. This is your second video of the week. Last video we just looked at what are the properties. Today we're going to use them with algebraic expressions. You are going to need paper, pencil, and an open mind because this is going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a fun challenge because I love it. I love this stuff and I wish I was with you in person to show you how awesome it is. Please work with me, write everything down so you have something to look back at. All right, so first, let's see, we're going to look at equivalent expressions. And equivalent expressions are expressions that equal the same thing when evaluated. So we're going to do number 1 here. And it says x squared minus 5x. And it says x and then x minus 5. And it told us that x equals 6. So we're going to work these out. Our first step is to substitute. So we're going to take out the x and put the 6 in. So we have 6 squared minus 5 times 6. Then I have to solve this with order of operations. And so I'm going to do my exponents. And x squared is coming first, so that's 36 minus 5 times 6. 5 times 6 would come next, so it's 36 minus 30, and then 6. Okay, that's what we did last week. I'm going to do it again over here and substitute. 6 minus 5. We do the parentheses first, that's 1. 6 times 1 is 6. Did we get the same answer? Yes, so that means they are equivalent. Okay, now I saw that these were equivalent at this step. And that's what we're going to look at today. How we can look and see, oh, that's the distributive property. I know those are already equivalent. All right, so we're going to practice our properties today. This here on your screen, I have a screenshot of this on the last video that I shared with you. If you would like to capture that or see it, it's just a definition of each of the properties that we talked about with those algebraic examples. Okay? All right, so we're going to do this number 2 here. On it, number 2, it says 4 parentheses a plus 2b parentheses plus 4a. And they want to know if that's the same as 8 parentheses a plus b. I'm looking straight at the problem 2a to see that. Okay, so we're going to rearrange this expression using our properties to see if they are equivalent. All right, now they moved it around for us and I'm going to kind of show you what they did. So here's how they started, and then they said, okay, well that's actually 4a plus 8b plus 4a. Well, what did they do? How did they do that? Well, they saw that this was the distributive property. There was a 4 on the outside of a parentheses, and so they distributed the 4. They said 4 times a, 4a. 4 times 2 is 8, and keep that b, so 4b, 8b. So that's the distributive property. Okay. Then they said, okay, let's do this. Let's say it's 4a plus 4a plus 8b. Well, notice our 4a and our 4a were separated. Now they're together. There's a property that says the order doesn't matter, and that's the commutative property. So that's what they did there. All right. Now they said, okay, now look at this. This one has an A, and this one has an A. Let's take the A away. And then let's put those 4's into parentheses. Okay, so this is the distributive property. This is backwards from what we've practiced, but those both have an A, so if we take the A out and put it outside the parentheses, we're left with our 4 plus 4, and then we still have our 8b. All right, well now the order of operations say, okay, now you need to do 4 plus 4 is 8a, and then 8b. Okay, so far. Now, wait a second, this one has an 8 and this one has an 8. Let's take that 8 out and write it with parentheses. So that's distributive property again. So notice now we've gone from this problem to this expression. We didn't change anything, we just rearranged things. So those are equivalent expressions. Using our properties, we proved it. Isn't that awesome? Okay, let's do another one. All right, this one says 8xy plus 5xy and 3xy. So the and, that shows my two different expressions. Okay, so we're going to look at this 8xy and this 5xy. Do you notice how they both have xy, right? So let's take that xy out from both of them and then put their coefficients in parentheses. That's the distributive property. Okay? And then we can add what's in the parentheses and get 13xy. So the question was, is this expression equivalent to 3xy? Is it? No, not equivalent. Because we found that it was 13. All right. Okay, we're going to keep working on this. All right, this one says a triangle is drawn so that starting from the shortest side, each side is 1 unit longer. The expression s plus 1 plus s plus 2 gives the perimeter of the triangle. Each of the s terms are like terms and can be combined. So let's talk about like terms real fast. Write this down. Like terms must have the same variable and the same exponent. So 6s and 3s are like terms. Okay. 5y squared and 14y squared are like terms. They're both y squared. 3x and 3x squared are not like terms because this one has the x squared and this one does not. So they have to be the exact same variable, exact same exponent. All right, so let's practice this. All right, so this says s plus s plus 1 plus s plus 2. Okay, I'm copying this from the textbook here. Then the next step they have is s plus 1 plus s plus 2. So let's see what they changed. Right in here. Do you see what happened? They moved to the parentheses, so that was the associative property. Okay? All right, then the next step, it says it has, let's see, it has s plus s, then it has plus s plus 2 plus 1. So on this one, they didn't move the parentheses, but they changed the order. So that's the commutative property. Then they said, all right, let's do it like this. Let's do s plus s plus s plus 2 plus 1. On this one, they changed the parentheses. So back to the associative property. Okay. All right, and then the last one, they said, ooh, look at this. All of these actually have a coefficient of 1. And so we can take out that s and put the coefficients in the parentheses. So that's the distributive property. Okay. Then we can add those ones and get 3s plus 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3s plus 3. And we're done. We just combined like terms. So we're going to use our properties to rearrange to make it easier for us, and then we can put them together. Okay, we're going to keep going, don't worry. Let's look at the next one, number 4. Number 4 says, are the expressions 6w plus 3z plus 4w plus 7z and 8 parentheses w plus z equivalent? in the expression 6w plus 3z, write this down, plus 4w plus 7z, it says that 6w and 4w are like terms. Yes, they are because they both have w's. My other like terms then are 3z and 7z, right? Okay, you may not have different colors, but I want you to mark them differently in some way with me. If you want to go get some colors, pause and go get some. All right, so now that we know this, let's see. Again, we're going to rearrange it, and let's see. They did this. They did 6 plus w plus 4 plus w plus 3z plus 7z. Do you notice what they did? So now my like terms are here and here. What property is that? Yes, that's the commutative property. I don't have enough room to write all that out. Sorry, guys. Commutative property. All right, now, ooh, I see something. I see that this has a W and this has a W. So I'm going to take that W out and put their coefficients in parentheses. Okay? And then I see that this one has a Z and this one has a Z. So I'm going to take the Z out and put the coefficients in parentheses. And that's the distributive property. Now I can just add 6 plus 4 is 10w, and 3 plus 7 is 10z. Ooh, do you notice what I notice? I see a 10 and a 10. So I'm going to take the 10 out and put what's left over in the parentheses and use the distributive property again. And I just simplified that. Now, if I go back to the question, it asked if it was equivalent to 8 times w plus z. Is this equivalent? No, not equivalent. All right. Okay, so we're going to try some more. We're going to do just some combined like terms. All right, so we're going to do 8w squared minus 3w squared. Okay, look at these. They're definitely like terms because they're both w squared. But look, they both have a w squared, don't they? So I'm going to take the w squared out and put their coefficients in parentheses. I'm going to use the distributive property. All right, then what's 8 minus 3? It is 5. So my final answer would be 5w squared. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to have one for you to do on your own. So I want you to do x plus 5 plus 7x. Pause, rearrange it, do what you got to do, and simplify. Okay, so this is what I would do. I see x and 7x. So I'm going to move, and remember this has a 1 in front of it. I like the 1. So I'm going to do 1x plus 7x plus 5. When I rearrange it, I'm using the commutative property. Then I notice x and x. Wow. So I can use the distributive property and take the x out and put the coefficients in parentheses. Don't forget about your plus 5. Okay. Now I'm almost done. 1 plus 7 is 8. X plus 5. Okay, remember there's several ways to do this. As long as you end up in the same place, you're good to go. All right, here's another one to do together. We're going to do 6p cubed plus 2p squared plus p cubed. So in this case, remember they have to have the same exponent. So I see 6p cubed and p cubed. And I'm going to put those next to each other. And again, I'm going to add that 1 in front of the p cubed. So 6p cubed plus 1p cubed plus 2p squared. That's the commutative property I just used. Okay? Now, take the p cubed away and then put the coefficients in the parentheses. And I still have my plus 2p squared. That's the distributive property. Okay. Now I'm going to do 6 plus 1 is 7p cubed plus 2p squared. And I am finished. I cannot put those together any further. Let's do this one. G plus 3 plus 4g plus 2. Okay, so when you see ones like this, where it has the distributive property, we need to do that first. So we'll distribute our 4. 4 times g plus, what's 4 times 2? 8. Okay. I see g and g, so I'm going to move it so that my g's are next to each other. The commutative property. Okay. Now, this has a g and this has a g, so I'm going to use the distributive property. I'm going to take the g out. 4 plus 1. What's 3 plus 8? Okay. Then I can add and I get 5g plus 11. All right, let's do one more where you try it on your own, okay? Let's do 2 and then parentheses x plus 4 parentheses minus 5. I want you to try that one. Pause and go. All right, so the first thing you had to do was your distributive property. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 8. And bring down your minus 5. There's no other x's, but I noticed like terms right here. What's 8 minus 5? It's 3, so it's 2x plus 3. Just like that. All right, so you guys are rocking this, I hope, getting some confidence. There's some more practice that we're going to do this week on this topic, so don't fret. Just keep plugging away. Let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.